South Africa has called for a fairer global distribution of COVID vaccines, telling the BBC that Britain and other wealthier nations will not be safe until everyone is safe. Britain has moved to restrict travellers from South Africa because of an aggressive new mutation of the virus there. But one of South Africa's top scientists has said that that move is silly. Our Africa correspondent Andrew Harding reports now from Johannesburg.
Live samples of COVID-19 are handled in a secure South African laboratory. Scientists here are racing to understand more about a sudden surge of mutations. The virus has already become far more infectious. There are signs it may also have at least some resistance to current vaccines.
When we look at the 501Y V2 variant...
But South Africa's leading COVID expert told me his biggest concern was that the virus is clearly mutating so fast.
We're going to see this occurring much more commonly. I think that's the message. And if it's going to occur more commonly, we're going to have to ensure that our vaccines are able to neutralize them. Because if they're not, that means we're back to square one.
Right now, South African hospitals are battling a huge second wave of infections, a wave driven by the new mutations. But scientists here have criticised today's move by Britain to restrict travellers from South Africa, saying there's no point in singling out countries or even regions.
I find quite almost like silly, this trying to block a country, because we know how fast this virus is spread and how many places.
So by the time you try to block visitors from one country, it's too late?
That's what the pandemic showed.
And there's another key point that South Africa is making today about the rollout of vaccines, urging richer nations not to be selfish, not to hoard supplies, because if that happens, then the virus will remain free to keep circulating and mutating and threatening all of us.
So fundamentally, there's a mistaken belief by some countries that they can vaccinate their populations and that they'll be safe. It simply is not true. In this world that we live in with this coronavirus, no one is safe until everyone is safe.
Can the world show that kind of unity? Here in South Africa, more than 100,000 deaths are now being linked to the pandemic. A fast mutating virus requires an aggressive and collective global response. Andrew Harding, BBC News, Johannesburg.